Last night on my live YouTube, I got disconnected. My iPhone just stopped working as far as being connected to YouTube. I was just about to stamp something and create a card, so I thought I would hurry up and do that so you can see it. This is the Retro Reindeer from Technique Junkies. It's part of the new release. This stamp is on sale for 15% off through October the 8th. And then I also want to use from this Christmas Words set. This is a previous release, and I want to use the word peace. And this one you can get for 10% off if you use my code TJ10 Tracy. I also like the word hope, so I might stamp that one out too. But this is what it's going to look like when it's stamped. But I thought I need some kind of background. It just looks so stark and so white, and I don't really feel like fussy cutting and getting into all that. So I have this beautiful stencil. This is part of the new release from A Colorful Life Designs. This is the Delicate Snowflakes, and you can get this at A Colorful Life Designs for 10% off if you use my coupon code TracyFan10. I'll have that all in my description box below. I'm going to be using Pixie Spray. You can purchase Pixie Spray at Technique Junkies. Hold on, let me put the little sprayer on. Now I'm going to take this off camera. Actually, I go into another room so I don't get this sprayed on any of my camera parts or on my phone. This is really sticky, but it's a low adhesive tack that you can reposition your stencil. So I will be right back. I'm going to spray this real quick. And you want to give it a second to dry. That is another tip when you're using Pixie Spray. It is very tacky, and you just want to give it a chance to dry because it goes on a little bit wet. I mean, not like wet like water wet, but okay. So then you take your paper, and I'm using the Wendy Vecchi Make Art Station that my sweet friend Stacy sent me. And I'm going to line the stencil up. Now, if I need to trim this paper later, I will. And I'm going to use my magnets that came with this and get that down. And then I want to make this a very light blue. So what it will look like, it'll look like this when it's done. And so, excuse me, I'm using some Catherine Pooler ink, and the color that I'm using it's a boy. So it's a very light blue. And it comes from the Party Collection, Spring Fling. This Catherine Pooler ink, I'll have a link in my description box where you can purchase some Catherine Pooler ink using my affiliate link if you are interested. This is a very nice color. It's a very light blue. And it's perfect for this subtle background. That's what I'm going for, a subtle background. So I'll go ahead and put a little bit of ink on my brush. You don't have to load it up because you are trying to get a light effect. And then I'm just going to gently go over my stencil with this. You see how light that is? You know, you probably can hardly even see it with the camera, but I like it. I like it subtle. And this stencil is very delicate. I mean, it's called Delicate Snowflakes. So you just want to take your time and just gently rub your brush, which only has a very little bit of ink on it at this point, over your snowflakes. You can grab a little bit more ink if you need it. I would suggest if you do find that you put too much ink on, you can still use the background, but I would find that you want to try to do just a very gentle pressure is what I'm trying to say. And the background will have some white areas, but I think that looks really pretty, and that's okay with me. I'm not trying to recolor the entire paper. So I am on the design team for both Colorful Life Stencils and for Technique Junkies, and I love it when I can bring two products together from two companies, and I know that these two companies support each other. I know that they're not going to be offended by me demoing their product with the other company's product, or vice versa, because I know that the owners are friends with each other. Two wonderful people who have known each other through being part of the sort of mom and pop rubber stamp community for a while. Mary Kay, the owner of A Colorful Life Designs, and Pat, the owner of Technique Junkies. So I think it's a real blessing when I could use their products together. I think it just goes to show you that, you know, in the small crafting community, people are supportive of each other, and some companies are actually okay with you using their products together. And why not? Because when you're crafting and you're in your craft room, you are going to pull from others when you start your project. Yes, there will be times when everything you create will be from the same manufacturer, but I think it's fun to mix and match. So I get a lot of pleasure out of doing that, and I think it helps you maximize your supply in your craft room. Okay, so that's the one that I did for you all, and this is the one that I did beforehand. And you can see they're almost completely identical. I would say the first one I had a little bit more of a heavy hand, but just a little bit. I pressed a little bit harder is what I'm saying. And this is nice and subtle, and that's really what I'm looking for. Some nice subtle background that will complement my stamp. Okay, so let's move the stencil board away. That's a magnetic board, by the way. And when you put your stencils on that, they are going to stay in place when you use those magnets. It is a great tool. I love it. Okay, now I've got the Tim Holtz stamping platform, and I already noticed that I am making a mistake. I have it set for the clear when I should have it set for the rubber. With Tim Holtz platform, you can pull the, technically you can pull the cover off and flip it, and that's going to give you the depth that you need for stamping. So I unfortunately put it on the clear side, but I already lined it up, guys, and I really would rather just not try to reline it up. I used a piece of acetate because I'm just trying to keep this video short. I used a piece of acetate to get that lined up, in case you're wondering how I did that. And this is what it should look like when I'm done stamping it. Alright, so let's just flip it over. I just want to double check. I just want to make sure that everything's lined up before I stamp it on my pretty snowflakes. Alright, so I've got VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Technique Junkies sells a wide variety of red rubber stamps. And of course the red rubber stamps are fantastic because of the detail. You can get quite a bit of detail on a red rubber stamp, and you'll see what I mean when I'm done stamping this. Alright, so I'm just going to gently apply some pressure. I need to apply a little bit more pressure in the middle because my little reindeer, he was missing his nose. She was missing her nose. And you'll see, I think that's lined up pretty well. I like it. I think it looks pretty good. So even though I have it on the clear stamping lid, that's okay. Just for now, that's okay. I'll be more careful next time, I promise. Okay, so this is the one that we just created. It's a beautiful background. Super pretty, right? And let's go ahead with our ink and apply a little bit more ink. There's a little bit ink on them already, but I'm just going to go ahead over them one more time. Make sure that they have enough ink. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Make sure my magnets are out of the way. And hopefully this will look this will look nice as a Christmas greeting or holiday greeting. You can even use this for Hanukkah. Okay. I like it because it's blue, and that goes with Hanukkah. Okay, that looks really nice, except for my reindeer. I need to press a little bit harder right here. Now, if I was using the proper side of my lid, that probably wouldn't have happened. But otherwise, I think it looks pretty good. I think they have a very nice matching effect as far as the way that the deer is styled and the way that the stamp says peace. But I am going to give the reindeer a little... Oh, let's do the other one too. Hold, please. Let's do this one too. This was the one I stamped ahead of time. But I want to give the reindeer a little bit of snow underneath his feet to stand on so he's not floating in the air. Okay, so let's get this one. While I have this in here, I'm going to go ahead and make a second card. Okay, and this time I'll pay special attention to the middle where it seems that I just need to get that. A little bit of extra pressure there. Yep, perfect. Perfect. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so you can see how nicely those turned out, right? Okay, so the new release from A Colorful Life Designs includes a little snowdrift. So I'm going to grab that and we will create a little snowbank for the deer to be standing on. All right, so bear with me while I go through my pack of stencils. Oh, and by the way, tonight on my YouTube at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to do a complete reveal of all of the new stencils for October for A Colorful Life Designs. So you want to check that out. I'm pretty sure my iPhone will cooperate. And I hope that we have a nice time together looking at all of the new stencils from A Colorful Life Designs. This one is called Snow Hill Edger 1. Alright? And the cool thing about their stencils is they come, a lot of them come in 2 pieces. Alright? So obviously the one I just showed you was one solid stencil. But for the effect of creating a cute little snowbank, this is perfect that it comes in 2 parts. What I'm going to be doing is using the top part to create my snowbank. So I'll go ahead and grab my Make Art Station again. Let's grab the card that we created. And let's put some magnets on it so it stays in place. And again, this is the Snow Hill Edger from A Colorful Life Designs. You can get it for 10% off if you use my code TracyFan10. Now I'm just lining this up so that his little feet have a little snowbank to stand on. Hopefully this will look okay. I'm going to grab my other blue ink blending brush. This one has a bit of a darker blue to it, which is fine with me. I'm going to just very lightly create a line here with this little bit darker blue ink. I'm not pressing really hard. And I don't know what ink color I used last on this. Probably Juniper Mist. It looks like it. Juniper Mist is another Catherine Puller ink, which has a nice dark quality to it. It almost reminds me of navy blue. Okay, so see what I'm doing? I'm just creating a snowbank for our deer to stand on. Alright, and it can be solid if you want it to. So if I apply a little bit more pressure, I can get a more solid snowbank underneath here. Let's see what that looks like. I didn't use any Pixie Spray because this is a solid stencil and I can pretty much keep it in place with the magnets. Okay, and if you move your magnets as close as possible to the edge of the stencil, you're going to probably bump into them with your blending brush, so you want to just back them up a little bit. And we'll go over that one more time. It's okay with me that the snowflake background is kind of showing through. If that bothers you, you certainly can go for a more solid snowbank. That is totally up to you, whatever your preference is. Alright, so let's just finish this, and then I'll grab that Juniper Mist, and for our second card, we can completely make it a solid snowbank. Alright, so here we go. We've got a beautiful card here with the snowbank, and if you want it to be a little bit more in depth, you can make your snowbank have 2 humps. We can try to do that with my next card. Alright, so this one is our second of the same card. Let me grab the Juniper Mist ink. Juniper Mist is part of the Spa collection, and it's from Paradise Found. Okay, so we've got Juniper Mist, and I'm also going to grab Daydream. And I'll show you why. Because some people prefer to have a snowbank with a little bit of depth and dimension, so we can definitely accomplish that. Alright, what we're going to do is, on this one, we'll put the stencil a little bit lower. Alright, so it's not directly under the reindeer's feet, it's just a little bit lower, okay, near the bottom of the stamp. Alright, let's go ahead and put our magnets down. I'm going to clean my brush, and to clean my brush, I just use a microfiber towel, and I just rub it on the microfiber towel, so it's just basically getting whatever is the last color ink that I used off. Alright? And we will go ahead and use the Juniper Mist for our first part of our snowbank. This is the Juniper Mist. Okay, again, it's a nice dark, I would say navy blue. It reminds me of navy blue. Okay, and we'll go ahead. Yep, it's definitely a dark blue. You can use any kind of inks. You can use Distress Oxides if you prefer. That's totally up to you. Okay, this is nice and juicy, guys, so I don't really have to press really hard at all. My ink, I love the Catherine Pooler inks because they are so juicy. If you do buy them, I would recommend buying the refills because it's a dye-based ink. You use it up, and you want to have a nice juicy ink pad. People ask me all the time about ink blending. They say, you know, what's your trick for doing ink blending? And there are a couple things with ink blending. And one thing is you want to have paper that allows you to smoothly blend. And I like to use Hammermill Premium Color Copy cover paper. That's what this is. It's 80 pounds. The second point about being able to do blending well with your brush is to have a juicy ink pad. That helps too. Okay, so it's getting a little sticky here. Probably because of the Pixie Spray that was on my other stencil. So I'm just going to grab that, and I don't want to smudge my card. Okay, so that's my first little part of the snowbank. Then what I'll do is I'll shift the stencil. I will shift it over, and now it is directly under our reindeer's feet. And now I'm going to take the Daydream, okay, ink, and I'm going to ink blend that under the reindeer's foot. And then I'll also take the bottom part of the stencil that I just used, and I will line that up. And this is covering then my previously inked section. And I'll show you what that looks like now. So we'll go ahead in, and by the way, in case you're wondering, I think that was Daydream. I really do. I had said earlier that I thought it was Juniper Mist, but now that I'm using the Daydream, I'm pretty sure that's what color was on my ink brush. On my brush, I mean. Let's see how that looks. So we've got, whoop, we have a little bit of a gap. I don't want that. So I'm just going to move that bottom layer of the stencil down a little bit. Oh, I just grabbed some Daydream ink. There we go. We'll get this right, folks. And let's go ahead and blend that. And hopefully it looks like a little snowbank. Let me peel this back. Again, I did not put Pixie Spray on my stencil, but the Pixie Spray that was on the previous stencil is just a little bit leaving a little bit of tack. All right, I'm going to clean this stencil because I don't want to get ink all over the project. So it's looking pretty good. However, I still see his back hooves are kind of floating in the air, and we know that reindeer can fly, but for this card, we want the reindeer to be on the snowbank. So I'm just cleaning my stencil because I got a little bit of messy ink going on here, and I don't want to ruin my project. All right, so let's go back in and put this bottom stencil piece just under what we inked first, which is the Juniper Mist color. Let's just put that right there, okay? And then we'll take the top part of the stencil and we will line that up over here so that our reindeer has something to stand on. Well, hold on a minute. My page is moving here. I might have to grab some Pixie Spray. Okay, come on. Please stay still. Okay. Let's get this where we need it to be so that the reindeer has something to stand on. His back hooves are floating. I'm going to stick with the same color ink, Juniper Mist, and I'm just going to go right in that little crack there. Kind of created like a little space for me to go ahead and ink blend. Okay. Okay. All right. That looks really good. So I like the way that looks. I like how the ink is kind of, you can kind of see the two different colors of ink. That's okay with me because it just reminds you of a snowbank. All right. And if you don't like that effect, you can always just stick with the one color and the one snowbank, whichever is your preference. All right. Let me put this aside, and we need to finish our card. So I'm going to grab some card bases and clean my inky fingers off because I don't want to get my project contaminated with the ink on my fingers. All right. Okay. Okay, so we've got this one and this one. We're going to use, I'll probably just, let's see. I have to decide whether to use a white or a black card base. Where did I put my card bases? This one is white. I might have to trim. Oh, that's not a card base. That is a piece of cardstock. Oh, I had those ready when I was doing my YouTube last night. And I must have put them somewhere. Oh, buddy. Okay. Where did I put them? Well, that's all right. We'll grab another one. We've got plenty of those laying around. Let me just grab a black one too to see what that looks like. Okay, so black and white. We'll do one black and one white, but I do need to trim my card here. It's a little bit too big. We want to make this 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to take a little bit off of each edge so that it's not, well, I could probably take a little bit more off of this side. Okay, then we'll turn it and line it straight up on the number 4 line. Okay, so we've got that trimmed. Now I need to trim some of the top. We want this to be 5 1/4. Okay, so that, okay, will that fit onto our card base? Looks like I just need to trim a little bit more off the bottom. Just a little bit. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the next one. 4. Okay, we'll trim a little bit off the bottom first, and then a little bit off the top to give us 5 1/4. Let's see how that looks. Did I get my measurements right? Yep, that's perfect. Okey-doke. Now, I need to grab my bone folder and go ahead and make a nice crease in our card base. This is just black 100-pound card stock. Just something that was purchased off the Amazon. Okay, and that looks pretty nice. I kind of like that. I like the black. There's also an option you can put a little mat underneath of the decorated card panel if you'd like. Something maybe blue foil, especially with the white, because the white and the white match very well. It blends very nicely. If you wanted to, you could trim this even smaller and put a piece of blue foil behind it. Let's see if I have a piece of blue foil handy. I surely do, because I also have silver foil. That would look nice, some silver. If you don't have foil, you could use a piece of cardstock underneath there. Some light blue card right underneath as a layer would also look really pretty. So I think that's what we'll do for this one. So in order to do that, I just need to trim it a little bit more. Okay, so just a little bit, trimming a little bit off the top and a little bit off the side. And let's see. Yeah, only thing is this needs to be trimmed to 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. So that's 4 by 5 1/4. And then you want this to be just a little bit smaller. See how I did. Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit more off. A little bit more. So, like, you want to make this 3 3/4, I would say. Something like that. And then instead of 5 1/4, maybe make this 5. There we go. That should make a nice, yeah, that looks good. Okay, so that's perfect. Okay, we've got that. Let me grab my tape runner and put the white card base card together first. Again, sorry that my live ended prematurely last night. It was completely beyond my control. And I did try to do another one, by the way, and still could not get connected. And so there's just a point where you say, okay, this is not going to work, and I just need to walk away, because I didn't want to get frustrated. And I also didn't want to frustrate you all by continually trying and failing, which the technology sometimes just doesn't want to cooperate, and it's really beyond your control. Okay, there we go. We've got a nice, that's pretty. I'm probably going to put some gems on that just to jazz it up a little bit. Let's go ahead and adhere. This one goes to our black card base. There we go. That looks really nice. I think that really shows it off quite well. Let me grab my new. I just got these new gems from Amazon. I'll link them below in my description box. They're real pretty. They kind of look like water, like little drops of water. But in this case, we'll pretend they're little snowflakes. And we'll add a couple of gems. So I was thinking just up in the corner here, sort of like their little snowflakes coming down to the reindeer. Okay, so I'll just add a couple of these. Okay, where's my little Marvy jewel picker? Where are you, jewel picker? Okay, he's hiding from me, so I'll use my other one that I got from Amazon. It's just a generic one. Okay. Sorry. It's hiding from me. All of my jewel pickers do not want to be found. Oh, they're way in the back. Okay. And I'll have a link to the jewel picker and the little jewel droplets in the description box below. Okay, so we just want to put a couple of these on. They're flat on one side and rounded on the other. And the trick is trying to get them to lay correctly. At least it is for me. They've got a lot of static to them, it seems. Okay, so we'll do 3. 1, 2, and then a smaller one makes 3. Okay. Just flip it to the right side. Flip. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3. Actually, let's use this one. Oh, that's the same size. Okay. I was thinking there's 2. I thought there was 3 different sizes, but I'm only seeing 2. They're all the same. Either big or little, looks like to me. Oh no, that's a big one. There we go. We've got 3. Big, medium, and small. Okay, so we're going to put that right there. And I'll grab a piece of scrap paper to put my glue on. Sometimes when you're cutting a sentiment, you have like a little piece of paper left over. And what I'll do is, first of all, let me get these extra gems out of the way. Just run a line of glue across that piece, and then use my glue. Use the other side of this tool. Just scoop up a little bit of glue and put it on the paper. Just a little bit is all you need. And then go ahead and put that down. See how easy that is? Just grab a little bit of glue. You've got the glue on the paper, you've got the gem on your tool, and it just goes right down. Glue right here. Wait. Put a little bit of glue there. Drop your tool. Drop your gem. Ha ha ha. Now I have to find another tiny little gem. Okay, come on. Are you a little tiny one? Yeah, I want a real tiny one. Where did they get to? Sorry. Oh, here it is. Okay, here we go. Little baby size one. Okay. There we go. So we have a little bit of something something on there to give it a little bit of dimension. Okay, and then I think I'm going to use a different kind of gem for the second card. Let me put my little jewels back away, or my little droplets. Yeah, these would be pretty if they were snowflakes. But they're like little clear, they're everywhere. I'll put them away later. Okay, so let's grab my other gems. And I'm going to grab a couple clear ones. And these are tiny. So let's get this out of the way. Come on over here, card. I have a container of multicolored gems here. And I just want 3 little gems. I just put tape on it because I'm just afraid it's going to fly open. And it already did that to me once. Let me tell you, that wasn't fun. Whenever those flew open and spilled. Oh, what a mess. So now I tape it shut. That way if I do knock it over, I don't have a mess because the little lids are taped. Okay, there's one. Grab some glue. If your glue gets dry, just refresh it and put another line down. There's two. Okay, a little bit more glue is all we need. Okay, and this is the third one right here. We'll take that one away. Alright, so there you have it. The cards that we would have completed last night on my live, featuring Technique Junkies and a Colorful Life Designs. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, tonight at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'll be live on my YouTube doing a reveal of all the new stencils from a Colorful Life Designs, and I'm sure we'll make a couple cards too. Thanks. Have a hopeful day.